All right, we'll talk about Lens. So Lens, there's two components to it. There's Lens Desktop, which is what the end user is using to manage their USB devices, whether they're headsets or audio devices or something else, webcams. But then there's the cloud version of Lens, and that's that's your centralized management where your IT department is seeing all of the devices across the entire company all in one spot. So any Lens desktop, USB-based Lens desktop stuff is pushed up to the cloud version of Lens so that people can centrally manage them. So if we take a look at that, let me just share my screen. So here is Lens Desktop. So this is what the end user has on their PC to manage all their USB devices, whether it's headsets or webcams, or I have my Studio USB connected to it, and then I have a headset as well. So this is what they can use locally to manage. So I can see right here that I plugged in this Blackwire headset, and there's an update available, so I could update that myself as an end user from right here. And there's other stuff you can do to come in here and configure any of these headsets locally at the end user level. But then you have, so the IT department has the cloud version of Lens, so that's web-based. So, looks like this when you log into it, and all of your devices show up here. And so this would be anything coming from Lens Desktop from any user's PC or Mac across the entire company, regardless of where they are located. And there's also other stuff that shows up here. So if you're managing video devices or even phones, all that shows up here. So basically everything Poly shows up in this one spot under devices. And so within Lens, you can have users that are able to log into Lens. So if I take a look at this particular Lens tenant, it's this one here. And if I go to account members, so these are all the users who are currently able to log into this Lens instance, this tenant, and see everything that's in there. And for each one of these users, you can decide what kind of user they are, just a guest or read-only access or being able to do more. So I see this account here. So I'll grab this account here. And what I'm going to do is how you connect the desktop version of Lens up to the cloud is you simply add the account to it. So I have that particular account as an admin. So I'll go ahead and log in using that account. See if I can guess the password right. So there we go. So it just logged in. This Lens Desktop account is now signed in to the cloud. So anything that I have locally on my own end user computer is getting pushed up to this cloud instance under inventory. So everything will show up here. So another key point. So some customers prefer that their end users not have to log in. You can't always assume that end user is going to take the time to do that. So it is possible to set it up so it just uses single sign-on. So you can see the instructions on how to do that right from Lens Help. So you'll see the Lens documentation right from here, and you can search on, let's say, SSO, single sign-on, and it'll show you, kind of walk you through what's needed to do that, to set it up that way. So you can log in automatically. So you have to do a couple things with the tenant to get it configured that way. And you'll see that some of those things that you'll be configuring will be here under integrations. You have these client tokens. So you'll be setting that up right from the directions. So now that you have all your headsets in the inventory, how can you actually configure them, different software updates and stuff like that. So what most customers do is they use the policies, because you don't want to have to go in and configure and set software versions on each device one by one. So what you can do is automate that just by creating what we call a policy. So if you come to policy here, and you'll see that you can basically say, as an example, if anyone plugs in, let's say, a Poly Voyager headset, Voyager 8200 headset, then it will automatically use this device model profile, or policy, I should say. So, let's say the Voyager Focus 2 as an example. So you can either add one, or there's one already here. So I'll click on Voyager Focus 2. So anyone in the entire company plugs in a Voyager Focus 2, this is the set of configurations that it will get at a policy level automatically. So that also includes software update. So if you want to set a particular version of software for any Voyager 2 that's plugged in, you can set a particular one here, or you can just say, give me the latest one, and it'll always provide the latest one. And any specific configurations that you want all devices to have, you can do it from here as well. So that's how you use the model policy. There's other policy choices if you prefer, and you'll see they're in a hierarchy. So device model is kind of the highest level. If you wanted to create groups, whether that's based on the type of work that somebody does, or where they do it, or by site, or anything you want to do, basically. So you can create your own group, and you can create policies that apply to at a device model level or any grouping level, and then everything's automatic. So great to have that capability. And then once everything is in there, then you have, from an IT point of view, you then will have access to inventory of the entire company, regardless of where this equipment is, all in one place. So from here, you could say, let's say Voyager headset. I can click on that. I can see, all the Voyager headsets across the whole company. I can see all those that are here. If I drill it down to, let's say, 8200, see if there's any. Yeah, there's a bunch of those in here. And from the same spot, you can even look at video devices like Studio X50. So if you search for that, let's see, by X50 Studio. So here's a bunch of studio devices, and you could see, of any of them, you could see which ones are online or not. So I'll click on this. This is just a camera in this case. But yeah, you can get all the details on that. So video devices, audio devices, phones as well. So everything can be managed from this one spot. So that is how Lens works. You got the end user piece, which is Lens Desktop. There's a version for PC, for Mac. And we now have one that you can also use with Chrome. So you have that all to use. So thanks a lot. Bye-bye.